This shop.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's just bad.
Bad. ASMR videos. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on ASMR videos?
Okay, so for ASMR, if you like feet, maybe you like ASMR videos. It's kind of like if you like it, you like it. If you don't, it does nothing for you.
It's a good analogy. It's a good analogy. It's not necessarily my thing, so I don't know, but they're very popular on social media. I love this account, but let's specifically talk about what's going on in this video. I'm Dr. Shah.
Dr. Maxfield.
Welcome back to our channel, Doctorly, where we talk about all things skincare and dermatology. Today, we are live from my office in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're actually in the waiting room of the office using the TV to create this backsplash, and we're going to be talking about plumping your lips. So when I saw that Pore Vacuum come out, I'm like, great. I've never seen a video where a Pore Vacuum showed up, and I was pleased with the result of that video. So I knew it was going to be bad, but today we're going to be talking about lip plumping specifically.
So today we'll talk about all of the worst things we've seen when it comes to plumping your lips, what you can do to actually plump your lips, and then what works really well. So we'll go there. All things lip plumping. Here we go.
Here we go. Okay, first, let's unpack this video. Pore Vacuum, absolutely terrible. These go crazy on social media. There's entire accounts dedicated to Pore Vacuums. So essentially the way that Pore Vacuums work is that they are a high-powered suction device, and I think they actually have multiple settings, but you basically turn it on and it just creates suction, and it's supposed to suck out all the gunk from your pores. Not even supposed to be used on your lips, but it's supposed to be used to remove gunk from your pores. I've seen way too many people get bruising from this, damage their blood vessels, they end up with permanent broken blood vessels or telangiectasias that then need to be treated with laser. So Pore Vacuums in general, not good. What about on the lips?
I mean, it's even worse. So first, I'm going to say, so he loves his account, but it's like a pure pore vacuuming account. I'm just going to say that. But when it comes to lips are super, super sensitive. So even when people talk about the idea of lip exfoliation, and I know some dermatologists and professionals that are on board with this, I'm really not, because there's no stratum corneum when it comes to the mucosal lip, very thin skin to begin with, and then also tons of blood vessels and glands right underneath the skin. So this is an area, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but you really need to be cautious and treat it gently.
So we see a lot of people, especially in the wintertime, end up with lip dermatitis, irritation to the lips, dry lips, chapped lips. This is only going to compound this and make it worse. So did it work in the video? Yes, it worked in the video because it's going to cause temporary swelling. But as soon as she leaves the house, that swelling is going to go down and you're probably going to be left with some degree of bruising. So you're going to end up with a fat asymmetric lip. So one side of your lip will be plump, the other side will be normal, and you'll have some bruising that will last probably a week or two, and you might look like you got punched in the face. So I think this is a straight up thumbs down for me.
Fail. No question.
Now, the serum she was using, a good antioxidant serum from Farsali, big fan of him and his wife. I guess it's their brand together, but I know Sal well. But him and his wife, big fan of them. I mean, use it on other parts of your face.
So, with that being said, this is definitely not something you want to do. Okay, what's some of the other worst lip plumping hacks that you've seen?
That's tough. So, last year, maybe a little bit over a year ago, there was this guy on TikTok talking about using erection creams on the lips. Now, he was like, if you use erection creams, it's wonderful. It'll make your lips swollen. Your lips will be full. I reacted to it, of course, said it was a horrible thing to do. And I actually deleted the video. But either way, lip plumping with erection creams, not a good idea. They were not made or manufactured to be put on the lips. And if you put something on the lips, there's likelihood that at least some of it is going to get ingested. And that was not made to be ingested.
The worst one so we talk about bugs on dermatology. In fact, we were just chilling, talking about them the other night. And
he loves bugs. It's weird.
It's just
some people like feet. He likes bugs. This is actually a real thing.
But only on paper. I hate them in real life. Don't even want to touch them. But anyway, so one of the bugs is called Lidivesiculata or Cantharidin. Sorry, so many names for the same stupid thing. But this is what we use to make little blisters, to treat warts, treat molluscum. Now, anytime this seems to come up in dermatology, someone out there, or it's in a book somewhere, is just like, oh, wait, this used to be used as an aphrodisiac. But I've also heard that this has been used on the lips occasionally to stimulate blood flow and increase plumping there. I can't imagine the blistering. Oh, it just sounds like a nightmare to me.
Cantharidin causes a ton of blistering. Definitely don't recommend doing that. I don't even know how you would find cantharidin. I don't even think they have it in the United States. We actually, when we use it in dermatology, we have to import it from Canada. So I don't even know if you could find it, but if you did, I don't recommend it. So those are the two worst things that we've seen. What are some topical, we'll talk about other more effective treatments, but topically, what are some things that could potentially help plump the lips?
So it's tough because the first thing that always comes to mind is procedures. And topically, I feel like we're kind of left searching and scratching and theorizing. So of course you'd start with something that would plump. And the first thing that comes to mind with plumping is hyaluronic acid. So in theory, if you put that on your lips, it would absorb water towards the top of the surface and could give you fuller lips. I think if anything, it would be a modest benefit. That's the first thing that I could think of.
I've seen some people tout like peppermint oil as actually being effective. And in some of the videos I've seen, I don't know if there's studies on this, and some of the videos I've seen, it actually does plump the lips. But again, it's plumping the lips because it's causing inflammation and swelling. And so, yes, your lips will look great. If I punch you in the face, then you would also have lip swelling, and that would not be a good outcome, right? So it causes temporary swelling, which actually will then, once that wears off, you're going to end up with dry, chapped lips, and you're going to be fighting that all winter. So I don't recommend peppermint oil either.
Totally agree. And peppermint, cinemates, all of these kind of fragrance, I don't even know what the category they are, but they're these minty-ish ingredients. They're also prone to causing perioral dermatitis, which if you've ever had it, this is a bane of your existence. Just itching, irritation around the mouth.
Difficult to treat.
Very difficult to treat. And I've had it once. It's a miserable experience. But yeah, peppermint, cinemate's classic causative agent.
Now let's talk about procedures that we can do that will actually improve. I want to say improve because you don't need to do this at all, if I'm being honest with you. But if you wanted fuller lips, what could you do?
So the first thing that comes to mind, and probably for everyone, is going to be filler. Filler fills space, filler creates volume. And so when it comes to lips, people often use a hyaluronic acid filler, which you inject into the lip, into the body of the lip, and around the lip to absorb water. And with that, it creates this fuller appearance.
Injection of hyaluronic acid fillers, something like a Restylane or a Juvederm. You know, it is important to pick the right filler because you want something that's not going to be very stiff. It's going to be mobile. It's going to have a low G prime, low or high.
It's low.
It's a low G prime. Something like Restylane Kiss, you know, would be an example.
Volatero's classic.
So low G prime basically gives you more malleability. So it looks and feels more natural when you use it. But this is something you're going to want to talk to your dermatologist about before they inject you. So yes, hyaluronic acid fills. It lasts about anywhere from 12 to 18 months usually. There have been MRI studies that show that hyaluronic acid fillers stay around much longer than we initially anticipated. And when it stays around, they do migrate. So you can end up with a fuller, not just like your sort of vermilion mucosa lip, but also a fuller like epidermal lip.
This is true. Yes, that's actually a good point.
So it can start to become looking unnatural.
Yeah.
If you hate it, the good thing about hyaluronic acid filler is that it can always be dissolved by hyaluronidase. So that's an enzyme that breaks down hyaluronic acid. You can inject it and then your lips will go back to normal. And the procedure can be pricey, anywhere from $600 to whatever someone wants to charge. Variable.
So after you get this, basically, you kind of have a similar thing with the other irritation products, hacks, whatever, because your lip's going to swell a lot the first day. That's purely from trauma. That's not your end result. After the first day, first couple of days, it really should go down quite a bit. So you have this swelling, then it rests, and then over the next couple of weeks, that hyaluronic acid once again absorbs that water, but this time on the inside, and then you get that finished product where your lips should look voluminous. Now, okay, I don't know why, but this is something we talked about once when we were doing training back in the day on filler. People love getting the top of their lip. They just love their top lip, and maybe it's the price point, like Dr. Shaw was saying. It can be pricey, and so they're like, okay, how much does it cost? Well, I just want one lip. I just want the top lip done. But if you just look at yourself, if you look at people around you, the majority of people have a larger bottom lip than top lip. So just take that into consideration about when you're planning for this. Just try to make it look, or do whatever you want. But if you want it to look more natural, if you want it to be more subtle, invest in both lips.
Like, don't do this, but do whatever you want. You know, you're like, no, really though, one of the things that we do in dermatology when we're training is we study normal anatomy and we study normal aging. And when you look at the average person, the ratio of their upper lip to their bottom lip is usually either 1:2 or 2:3. So the upper lip is almost invariably smaller. And so when you fill them equally, that's when people can say, like, people don't necessarily know like that you got something done, but they know, they can pick up it doesn't look natural because that's not how most people look. That's why you want to go to somebody who understands normal anatomy, but also look at your own normal anatomy. And if you want fuller lips, enhance your normal anatomy. So put the same amount of filler in your upper lip and your lower lip, and it will look enhanced and not necessarily unrealistic, I suppose. So, I mean, but that's up to you. Like I said, you know,
do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. But if you come to me and you ask me what I think you should do, that's what I would potentially recommend. So what else do we have? What other options do we have in the procedure world?
So beyond filler, which again is pretty that prototypical foundational option, then you have Botox. Now this is a little bit different. This is called the lip flip.
The lip flip. So this is when we inject a little bit of Botox above your lip into your orbicularis oris muscle. And essentially what that does is it helps to relax the muscle that pulls the lips down, and it lifts the lips up, and it gives you more of a fuller lip as a result of that. Now, this ends up looking really nicely. This has like gained a lot of popularity lately. I feel maybe in the last year and a half, I've been doing this a lot more. And people have really good results with it. The downside is that you are paralyzing the muscles around your mouth that are required to like purse your lips, pucker your lips, suck on a straw, drink water. And so I have seen some negative side effects of people online having difficulty just eating and drinking as a result of getting Botox in that upper lip.
Like Dr. Oshaw was saying, though, this does seem to have become more popular. A lot of my colleagues get this done consistently, regularly, and they love it. The results typically, I feel like, are naturally a little more subtle. And it's one of those things you say, oh, it looks good, but you can't pinpoint why. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of like a nice in-between for like filler and doing nothing is this like lip flip.
And then the last thing that you could do is what we call the lip lift procedure. Now, this actually is a small surgical procedure where you cut the area right underneath the columella of the nose, right above the lip, and you cut out a small sliver of skin, essentially, and then you stitch it back together and hide that scar right underneath the nose. And that ends up actually lifting the lip up. Now, that creates your lips to be more full. It helps to have more show on your teeth. The risk is that you would have potentially a little scar in this area, and we can never predict how a scar is going to heal, but everyone tries their best to make it look as good as possible. And it is helpful because as we get older, the distance between our nose and our lip actually elongates. And so by removing some of that tissue there and lifting it up, it will look more like a natural procedure if you have that elongated area.
And I will say too, this area, we work on this area and when we remove skin cancers doing Mohs surgery, this area is a really nice place to hide scars. So although, like Dr. Shaw said, you can never predict how a scar will heal for anybody with any procedure or for any surgeon, this actually is a pretty inconspicuous area that really hides well.
Right. And so this is also another procedure that's become more popular lately, and it's done by plastic surgeons and dermatologists, really, are the two people you'd want to see for this procedure. You know, if the stitches are placed well, it can end up looking really, really nicely. All right. So I think that pretty much summarizes the lip plumping universe. We don't recommend these Pore Vacuums at all. Like in no capacity should Pore Vacuums be purchased according to the Doctorly channel.
But totally agree. Pore Vacuums, I mean, I don't even know what you could do with them. Nothing. But either way, now you know what procedures can be particularly effective, give you longer lasting results that are more consistent for your lips.
That being said, everything else is a good option if you want fuller lips. And we'll do deep dive. This is not a full video on fillers by any capacity. We didn't talk about the risks. We didn't talk about anything in that capacity. So we'll do much more on fillers if you're interested in learning about that. But that's just a little intro to what we can do with fillers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe.
We appreciate you as always.
And we'll see you in the next video.